They will mock him and spit on him and scourge him and kill him. And 3 days later, he'll rise again. James and John, the sons of Zebedee, or the sons of thunder, came to Jesus saying, "Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask." And he said to them, "What do you want me to do for you?" They said to him, "Grant us that we might sit, one on your right hand and one on your left, in your glory." But Jesus said to them, "You don't know what you're asking. Are you able to drink this cup?" Could you hold the cup up, Sharon? It's actually empty. Are you able to drink this cup that I drink, or to be baptized with the baptism with which I am baptized? They said to him, "Hey, we're able. We can do this. We've got what it takes." Jesus said to them, "The cup that I drink, you shall drink. And you shall be baptized with the baptism with which I am baptized. Can you drink of this cup?" But to sit on my right hand and on my left, this isn't mine to give, except for those it has been prepared. Hearing this, the 10 began to feel indignant with James and John. Calling them to himself, Jesus said to them, "You know that those who recognize as rulers of the Gentiles, they lord it over them. And their great men exercise authority over them. But it's not the way among you. Whoever wishes to become great among you shall be your servant." It's the upside down kingdom, isn't it? And whoever wishes to be the first among you shall be the slave of all. For even the Son of Man didn't come to be served, but to serve and give his life a ransom for many. Can you drink this cup? This is a poem that was written in 1985. Can you drink this cup? Drink. Not survey or analyze, ponder or scrutinize from a distance, but drink, imbibe, ingest, take into you, that it becomes a piece of your innermost self. And not with cautious sips, that barely moisten your lips, but with audacious draughts that spill down your chin and onto your chest. Some of us drink like that normally. Forget decorum. Reserve would be to give offence. Can you drink this cup? The cup of rejection, and opposition, betrayal and regret, like vinegar and gall, pungent and tart, making you wince and recoil. But not only that, for the cup is deceptively deep. There are hopes and joys in there too, like thrilling champagne with bubbles that tickle your nose on New Year's Eve. That fleeting moment of almost sheer ecstasy that lasts as long as an eye blink or a champagne bubble that mysteriously satisfy and sustain. Can you drink this cup? Yes, you, with your insecurities, visible, and your insecurities invisible, with your doubts that nibble around the edges, the ones that devour in one great big gulp. You with the impetuous starts and youth-like wisps of love and devotion. You with your giving up too soon or too late and being tyrannically hard on yourself. You with your yes, but, and I'm sorry again, yes you, but with my grace. But with my grace, can you drink this cup? Can I drink this cup? Yes. And that's by Scott Serency, written in 2015. When we were in New Wine last, I'm sure some of you would have bought this book. To buy this book would be to give money to the saints in North Korea, and the funds were going to buy them Bibles. And you know what it costs a saint to stand up and become a Christian in North Korea? Torture, imprisonment, sure, death even. They can drink this cup. They drink from this cup. Can we drink from the cup? Can we imbibe? It's an incredible story. They were on their way up to Jerusalem. Loads of people following Jesus and 12 disciples up front. Jesus was leading them. And it was a somber moment. Jesus had something really important to say. And there's these two guys that already had their own agenda. And although they were listening, they weren't really listening. They had already an agenda. They wanted something to say. Don't you just love people like that? You want to say something important that's dear to you, and already they're not listening. They just want to say something, and they just interrupt. Some of you are like that here. You know who you are. We've all done it. We all do it from time to time with our own agendas, our own things that are really important to us that we don't really listen. We just want to speak. And that's what happened. James and John had their own agenda, and they just interrupted the Master. Lord, when you come into your kingdom, can you do something for us? When you come into your kingdom, can one of us sit on your right hand, one on the left hand? I mean, that's a big ask, isn't it? That's a really big ask. And Jesus so graciously, so politely responds to the question, as he often does to people that don't really listen. He responds with another question. He said to James and John, "Yeah, you don't know what you're asking." And here's the counter question. Can you drink the cup that I drink? You lift up that cup, Sean. Can you drink this cup? The cup that Jesus drank. Jesus is referring to the cup of suffering. The cup of suffering, rejection, and death. They didn't really understand. He says in verse 38, "Are you able to drink the cup and be baptized with the baptism that I'm being baptized with?" They said, "Yes. Yes, we can." You remember in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus pleads with the Father. Father, if there's any other way but this, if there's any other way than suffering and torture and death, let it be so. This is what he said, Abba, Father, all things are possible to you. Remove this cup from me, and yet not what I want, but what you want. Can we say that this morning? Lord, it's tough. I'm finding it really tough. I don't want to go through this yet. God, if it's your way and if it's your will, so be it. I give myself to that. We're living in a society that just does its best to run away from pain and difficulty and opposition. We'll do anything in a Western society to get rid of pain. And the sooner the better. Can you drink this cup? Jesus was saying to James and John, listen, if you want to rule with me in my glory, then you have to drink the same cup as me. You have to be baptized with the baptism that I'm being baptized with. Recall in Luke 12 verse 50, Jesus says, I have a baptism to go through, and I'm distressed until that happens, until it's accomplished. Jesus saw suffering and death as not only a cup to drink from, but it was a baptism that he had to go through. And so, can you drink this cup? Excuse me, can I drink this cup? When I was 21, my 21st birthday, Sharon bought me some new commentaries by William Barclay. Commentaries on the Gospels and commentaries on Peter and some of the epistles. I think I got one or two. Most of them I given to Joel, and now you can get them online for free. But William Barclay talks about this sort of analogy of drinking from the cup. It's a metaphor, it's a Jewish metaphor, he says. Now some metaphors are true and we can accept, some are kind of a bit tongue-in-cheek. I remember from my youth, happiness is a cigar. I bought some Hamlet. Did any of you? It didn't make me really happy. It helped for a while. But happiness was not a cigar called Hamlet. Some metaphors are true. You know, it was a custom at a royal banquet for the king to give over his cup to the people sitting around the banquet table. The cup was the cup of life. It was a metaphor for life. I love what David says in Psalm 23. He said, hey, this is my life. My cup overflows. Does yours? Does mine? Remember, Jesus then responds to the disciples. Those 10 individuals that were indignant, they were offended by what James and John had to say to the Master. What would Jesus say to them? Is he going to say, it's okay, they're a bit off their heads. But you guys, you're not like that. He doesn't say that. He says, you know those who are recognized as rulers of the Gentiles, they lord it over them. And they're great men, they exercise authority over them, but not so with you. You want to be great? You want to have authority? You want to look good? You want to look the part? You want to be number one? must be the servant of all. You must be the slave of all. And then in verse 45, Jesus gives an example of what it means. And he's talking about himself. I've never quite seen it this way before. I thought it just meant you and me and us and serving Jesus and serving one another and serving those that don't know Jesus yet. I thought it was just that. If you ponder and think about it, Jesus is not just saying that. I mean, he is, but it's far deeper than that. He gives this example. He said, even the Son of Man didn't come to be served, but to serve and give his life a ransom for many. The way to glory, James and John, is through suffering. The way to success in the kingdom is by drinking this cup. And I just want to say, I can't drink from that cup in my own strength. I'd rather take the easy way out. I'd rather take the road that didn't lead to sacrifice and suffering and pain. But here's the key. Jesus said, even the Son of Man didn't come to be served, but to serve and give his life a ransom for many. What's he saying there? He's saying, yes, you are to serve one another, serve me. And yet Jesus said, I've come to serve you. He's saying that to the disciples. The Son of Man has come to serve. He's talking to 12 individuals. I've come to serve you. But he's saying this to you and me this morning. Jesus has come to serve you. How does he do that? How does he help us drink from his cup and live the Christian life and put others before ourselves? Live a life of sacrifice, living sacrifices. It's by Jesus serving us. And he does that by us abiding in him. Remember that analogy of the vine? Getting so connected with Jesus, having his life flow in and out of us. There's no other way. We can't live this life in our own strength. We get worn down, worn out, get religious, and we fail. But if we abide in him, as he abides in us, oh, it makes all the difference. And so, we're able to drink from this cup. And there'll be good days. And there'll be days we want to forget. There'll be easy days and there'll be hard days. But with Jesus we can overcome. We're overcomers through abiding in him, being filled with his Spirit. One of the means of grace that he's given for us is breaking the bread, and that's what we're going to do now. So I'm sure you brought your own bread and your wine. If you haven't, then we've got some spares and little cups for you. So Keith and Debbie, we're going to do that now.